Hello, Trench Slop consumers of sloppiness. I'm back again. I'm Brad, and today, once again, I finally have Avi joining me. Say hello, Avi.
Hello, Ivy.
So, we are starting off today with the new changelog for Trench Crusade, going from 1.1.01 to 1.0.2. I think I said that right, but who can say? It's not like this is recorded.
Yeah, it sounded about right to me.
Yeah, hopefully. Yeah, Trench Crusade 1.0.2 changelog. This document lists all of the important changes that were made as a part of the 1.0.2 rules update. It does not include minor changes that do not affect how the game is played, such as spelling mistakes, capitalization of words, extra spaces, renamed abilities, or special rules, and so on. The only thing there actually that immediately pops out to me is the renamed abilities. I feel like they should be included because it would just be one line and it just makes it clear that was an intentional change.
I also feel like they have though, like with all the keywords being added in and stuff.
Yeah, and most of the abilities they've changed the name of, they have, I think, changed the rule as well, so it's in here because of that.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting that's ever actually like something that they do where they just rename an ability but don't change its text at all.
Yeah, it could happen, but yeah, it'd be I can't see that happening terribly often.
No.
Okay, so let's get into this first change. Page 14, location core rules before the first sentence. Add the following new paragraph. The first section of the rulebook is called the core rules and explains how to play Trench Crusade in a quick and easy to use format. The core rules are followed by a comprehensive rule section, which provides more detailed explanations of the rules and additional information about how they work. If you are using the core rules and encounter a situation that you are not sure how to resolve, read the comprehensive rules to find the answer.
Yeah, I think that's just a tidy up, really, of.
Yeah, I wish the only thing was there is. Yeah, the only thing I wish was there as well was tidying up, saying if you're playing comprehensive, do not look at the core rules, and that's mostly because there were some little contradictions in there in 1.0.1. Not even contradictions, but there were some things where certain situations would come up and the wording was different between the two, and then it's like, which way do you go with this? And people were looking at the core rules to try and interpret how to do the comprehensive, and most of the situations and all those situations were only because the comprehensive rules weren't written, had ambiguity left in them.
Yeah.
So yeah, hopefully the changes will fix that anyway.
Yeah, hopefully. So the next one can be found on pages 14 and 34. It is actions move. Add the following sentence to the end of the move rule. A move action cannot be used to move a model within 1 inch of an enemy model. You must use a charge action instead.
Yep, and I'm guessing they've moved that from somewhere else to there to make it clear.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if
I think they're adding it in that it was somewhere else and they're just adding it onto move as well, so you can't miss it.
I suspect it may have been only in charge before, or yeah, either way, that's a pretty understood rule already.
Yeah.
Cool. Page 14, action retreat. Change to taking a retreat action with a model allows you to make a special type of move called a retreat. That is used when a model is within 1 inch of an enemy model and wishes to move away. Before you make or are forced to make a retreat move with a model, your opponent can take a fight action with each enemy model that is within 1 inch of the retreating model. When a model attacks a retreating model, it can only make one attack with one weapon. It cannot use multiple attacks rule, but if the attacking weapon has the cleave keyword, it still applies. Which, just a quick commentary, I'm not sure why that needs to be stated.
So cleave is one of the new keywords.
The only thing that has it is the Sin Eater is the only thing that uses that rule.
So champion gives you cleave 2 now.
Okay, cool. So we'll come back to that a bit then.
Yes.
Interesting. So, okay, cool. I'll keep going, then we can discuss it. After carrying out the attacks, you can move the retreating model as long as it did not suffer down or out of action results. See injury rolls. Imagine trying to still carry out your action, but your model's been taken out of action. Retreating model must end its retreat more than 1 inch away from all enemy models. If this is impossible, it cannot move at all. Note that redeploying a model does not count as a retreat move.
I think that's just sort of cleaning it up a little bit more.
Yeah,
into
making it
when
clear
you
when
make the attack.
yeah, and making it clear that your weapons that give you 2 attacks inherently, like an automatic pistol in combat, the assassin's dagger from House of Wisdom.
The automatic pistol doesn't have 2 in combat.
Oh, is that how that panned out? Was it?
Yeah. So this actually it came up in a game I played last week before. So when you make an attack action with a pistol in combat, it still says you can use your range characteristics and that sort of thing. What it is though is I don't know if that's changed because I know there is a change to automatic coming up later. Automatic
only applies to ranged attacks.
Only applies when you make a shoot action.
Right. And it's not, and when you're using a pistol in combat, it's not substituting the melee for a ranged. It is still a melee. That makes sense.
Yeah, you were just using your range characteristic for a attack action, not a shoot action.
But that's but it's very interesting actually that cleave still applies. So if you retreat, but you've got 2 buddies next to you, they're going to take the hits as well.
Well, no. So cleave is just a second attack.
Oh, is it?
It can be against the same target still, yeah. So,
okay, that's not... Okay, we'll get to that when we get... We'll circle back to them when we get there, yeah. So we'll keep pushing through for now then.
Alright, so next up, page 20. Down results. 3rd bullet point, change to... Until the model stands back up, it cannot be moved for any reason unless it falls.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, and that all... Yeah, well, that's tight. I think that's more tidy up. I don't know if that's much of a change.
Well, no, because it says any reason unless it falls, so things like your gas grenades, the...
Gas grenades don't make people move.
The ones for...
from... Black
Knights of Avarice?
Oh, Knights of Avarice? Yeah, Knights of Avarice, yes.
On the replacement shot for the
the artillery witch. So there's actually a standard artillery witch.
Yeah, does the standard artillery witch do it?
It does. Yeah, it does. I read that. I read them the other day.
The cannon, the grand cannon for Sultanate, and that's on the bull, that pushes you if you're not taken out of action. So if you get knocked down, that can't push you.
Yeah,
that seems weird.
So yeah, I just pulled up the 1.0 rules and had a quick look at them. 0.1, and that the difference here is that for any reason, unless it falls. So before, you still didn't move for any reason if you were down. It's just now it does say if you can still fall, which makes sense to me. But AV has feelings. Yeah,
so I have some feelings about it saying any reason. And just questioning now, and I wonder if this will come up, whether things that push you or stagger you, depending on what it is, count as movement?
I believe it does, because it does say to move the model X number of inches.
Which, I think the way it reads at the moment, it does. I just think it's weird that...
It doesn't make sense from a physics logic standpoint, is where you're getting hung up on.
Especially from a rule coming, for the example, the Grand Canyon. The rule is called Unstoppable Force. So it says in there that it doesn't push you if you're taken out of action. But it only actually pushes you if you take a minor injury from it.
Yeah. No, because it would push you, I believe, before you would go down in that instance. But I think that does actually... That would need some clarification.
So I'm hoping it comes up later in this document now. Yeah,
but I would always move the model and then be down. I'd be taking it as it's yeah, it has to be down before the attack, because then that's, admittedly, they've only clarified that for falling, but that's how I would definitely play it.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, it then means if you're already downed, you can't be moved. But
And that makes at least a bit more
it.
sense, because you were down before the attack, right? If the artillery shell goes off next to you, you're going to be taking less of that, force knocking you over by comparison. If it lands next to you, say. But anyway, let's keep it moving.
All right, next up, page 30, measuring distances. Add the following subsection after the first paragraph and before within. In contact. Two models are in contact if any part of the models and or their bases are in contact. A model is in contact with a terrain piece if any part of the model and or its base is in contact with the terrain piece.
Yep. I assume there's just been some weird arguments have come up because of it.
Yeah, I think.
Like, the other thing that we've run into in our games that I think we'll just need to talk about as a campaign group, but when using trench boxes, I don't think the tops of those should really count as terrain. That's just open ground. Because if you had a board that was made with the trenches you dug into them, you wouldn't consider the space in between the trenches terrain.
No, I think
if you're at the edge of a trench, sure, you can get your close quarters combat. But you've got to be in those positions. You don't just get it everywhere.
Yeah, and I think it's probably just clarifying what touching really means, because I'm guessing there's probably been arguments over whether does the base have to touch, or is part of the model touching for things that overhang.
Yeah, and to be in melee combat, it's to be within 1 inch, and that could have been. I could see maybe someone was genuinely getting caught up on that.
Yeah.
Cool. Page 30, line of sight. Change to, you will often need to check to see if a model has line of sight to another model or terrain piece. If you are unsure whether a model has line of sight to a target, stoop down and take a look from behind the attacking model and check if it can see any part of the target model. Do not count the target's base, its hands or feet, or anything that is carried by or attached to the target, such as a weapon or banner, or any part of a target terrain piece. So, anyway, models can see all around, i.e. 360 degrees, and they may pivot to face any direction before the line of sight is checked. Partial line of sight, a model that has line of sight to a model is said to have partial line of sight if it can draw a line of sight to a part of a model, or a part of the target model, but not all of it. So yeah, there's actually a big change in there. Do you know what it is?
Yeah, it's ignoring certain things, isn't it?
Yeah,
so
like before wings were
wings.
Yeah, and I think you ignored arms as well. Arms aren't too big of a change, but oh boy, my Praetor is a lot easier to shoot again.
Yeah, I think I'm in two minds at the change of including wings. I think I can see the argument for both sides of saying, yeah, counting wings does make it it definitely makes it easy to hit, but it also makes sense in the fact of if you're a thing that has a wing and I shoot you in the wing, probably gonna fucking hurt.
Yeah, it's a bit weird. They've actually have fixed flying later down as well, but before, where you were still just moving like a normal mob but just past checks, it's a bit but now they've actually fixed that. Yeah.
I think it's
I've actually a friend over in Melbourne, he was saying to me that someone was trying to say they could shoot his Praetor because of the relic thing that the Praetor's wings is holding above the Praetor's head. But no, even if by reading this you can't, because it is a piece of equipment.
It's something that it's carrying.
Funnily enough, not in its main hands, but in its wing hands.
Yeah, it still counts as carrying. I think.
That person I'd be telling to just go play with himself in the corner.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think being able to shoot wings is fine.
Yeah,
I think the tidying up of partial line of sight is nice, and I'm hoping that means they're going to use partial line of sight.
Yeah, it doesn't actually get used at the moment, so
Yeah, I'm hoping with a like potential like including that here, it means maybe they're going to start looking at using partial line of sight.
Well, yeah,
I
you
think
could
that's
actually do a thing where it's is there something interceding between the shooter and the target, and are they in contact with base and actually potentially even go for a double -2 to hit? Which
yeah,
that does
or
change
just
a lot of balance, of course, but that is something that could be done quite easily.
yeah.
In terms of like that'd be a way to change to include it, but then still have that initial intent of the cover rules.
Yeah, I think clarifying the 360 degrees is nice, and saying you can pivot before checking line of sight.
Well, it's saying like, yeah, and that you're not having to use your move activation to do that is a good way to.
Yeah,
As much as like I wouldn't have had an issue with that, it's good. It's very good that's now included.
yes. All right. Next up, page 30. Other rules, principles after line of sight. Add the following paragraph after line of sight. Points on the battlefield or terrain pieces. You may also need to check line of sight to a point on the battlefield or a terrain piece. When this is the case, the point is considered to be 1 mil across and 1 mil high, and you have line of sight to it if you can see any part of it. I like that. I think it tidies up what the hell choosing a point on the battlefield means.
Yeah, and it actually being 1 millimeter high is actually kind of nice because if you have a nicer display board and you have like little divots and bits and pieces, like someone can't point out like, no, you can't see that point. You got to be back 5 mil because it goes down a little
Yeah.
bit there. Like it gets rid of just I admittedly
Yeah,
you
it
can
gets rid
still
of all
have
of
that,
that.
but it kind of just yeah, it's saying use some. It does feel give some principle. Just use some common sense.
Common sense. Yeah.
Yeah, no, good.
And yeah, I think
Good definitional addition.
yes.
31 model placement second sentence. Change to you can set up a model so that a part of its base is on the battlefield or in terrain, and the rest of its base is in the air, as long as more than half the model's base is on the battlefield or in terrain. That's I did yeah. So on
That's
the battlefield is the big one there for me. I think that is the change as
yeah.
well.
Yeah, I think it is. I'm surprised you could hang things off the edge effectively. I mean, it makes sense because it's not like we play on a 4x4 board, but it's not like the world ends at the edge of those
Yeah, there's not a
4 foot
laser
square.
fence on the edge, or there's not
Yeah,
yet.
so
And what I actually like about that is it means you can have like terrain pieces closer to the edge, but as long as it's 30 mil in, even your biggest based models on your 60 mil bases can actually still slip through those gaps. Because if your model can be
yeah,
placed there, it then means oh, interesting. Actually, it's
it
you can be
actually
you can set a model oh, you can set
yeah.
up yeah. So set up a model. That's actually what gets me.
No,
Is that including movement?
it's only in unless it gets clarified again. Well, actually, no, because we've gone past movement already, so no. So yeah, it's only for deployment.
Yeah. Okay.
Which
Which it means just the advantage of that is like if you've got like terrain in a way that you can't really like be put up higher or something, you still so it helps with the deployment problem.
yeah,
Yeah. Which I
and
mean
it
I
just
wouldn't
gives you
have
sort of a little
someone
bit more room on deployment to eventually hide on, like off angles and stuff.
yeah.
So page 37, retreating, change to taking a retreat action with a model allows you to make a special type of move that is when used when the model is within 1 inch of an enemy model and wishes to move away. Before you make or are forced to make a retreat action with a model, your opponent can take a fight action that is each enemy model that is in 1 inch of the retreating model. After carrying out the attacks, the retreating model. Okay, so it's the same thing. It just doesn't mention cleave or multi attack.
Yeah, and I'm assuming before that was
So
talking.
what is the difference between retreat on page 30 and retreat on page 37?
I'm assuming it's the difference
No,
between
no,
core
14.
and comprehensive.
Comprehensive. Yeah. Does that mean in comprehensive you can make more than one now then?
Yeah,
So,
so
okay, so
the
this
first
is
one
what
was
you're
page
mentioning.
20.
Page 14.
14?
Yeah.
Ooh, let's have a...
So is that in core and then 37's in compre? I think that is
Yep.
correct.
Why do these rules need to be different?
I actually like it far less that they are different. Like that's bad.
Ah, so they've messed up because the one we just read is what's in the standard rules as well. It doesn't mention
In the old rulebook or the new rulebook?
in the new rulebook. I'm looking at yeah, in the new. I'll just double check with the new one. I'm pretty sure I have the new one here. Yeah, I have 1.0.2. So yeah, that's kind of wild. So yeah, I feel like the first one is the correct is what it actually should be, and then the other three are all wrong. Because let's have a look what's on page 20. That'd be hilarious if that's what's on page. It says it's meant to be on page 14. Sorry, yeah, 37.
So yeah.
37 rather than me scrolling. Retreating. Yeah, so do you know what they did? They messed up. They've got them in the wrong spots. Okay. So what we read before was the basic version. So what we just read is meant to be on page 14, was the change to what is now on page 14, and what we read before is meant to be the change onto page 37. Because the core rules are meant to be the simplified version, and if you're just playing for the first time, worrying about the interaction with cleave and those things, there is not all that important.
Yeah, okay. How do I feel about that?
Well, really, there just shouldn't be the core rules in the main book, and they should be split off as their own start here book.
Yeah,
and it should do what Kill Team does, in my opinion, which is your first tutorial game is everything's actually scripted, so that way you get a feel for it and you build up. But anyway, for now, that's not. We can do a whole podcast on that one. I think
on the difference between why the core rules and comprehensive rules shouldn't be different. Yes, we can.
Yes. So
stick to that episode again.
Yeah.
All right. 38 terrain types. Change to open. Open terrain includes any area where there's nothing to impede a model. It is the most common terrain in the Trench Crusade. Models can freely move across open terrain. Difficult. Difficult terrain includes rock beds, swamps, barbed wire, and so on, and has the difficult terrain keyword. See difficult terrain. Dangerous. Dangerous terrain includes barbed wire, minefields, raging fires, areas of poisonous gas, and so on, and has the dangerous terrain keyword. See dangerous terrain. Impassable. Impassable terrain includes cliffs, large monuments on which there is no way for a model to stand, pools of magma, and so on. It has the impassable terrain keyword, see impassable terrain, and cover. A model has the cover keyword from another model if it is in contact with a terrain piece that is at least half an inch high and at least as wide as its base. And the terrain piece lies between it and the other model in such a way that it partially blocks the line of sight between the two models. See partial line of sight.
Yeah, it shouldn't be open terrain. It should be open ground. Because it's why is that saying? Because otherwise you're always in contact with terrain, even if you're on open ground. Or is that just referring to like a base you've got terrain on that is a bit? It's like trying to give a definition that just actually doesn't need it.
I think you do need to clarify open ground. What it will matter is things that need to be contacted with terrain, whether they specify like not open terrain or something like that, because otherwise, yes.
Yeah, and otherwise, impassable. Yeah, impassable feels like it should probably say walls as well if you're going down this list. Yeah, I find impassable as a concept a bit weird.
I don't. I think it would like a wall potentially has somewhere to stand on because you can potentially stand on top of the wall depending on the thickness of it.
Yeah, I guess I'd say I don't know, it just feels weird to me, but yeah, and the cover rules, I'm not sure if they changed the needing it to be the same size as your base, but I do like that.
I do. I think clarifying that it needs to be at least half an inch high is nice. And saying that it does need to block line of sight.
That was the blocks on site thing was there before, I believe. I may not have. Because remember we had a discussion about that.
I think it depends on, because it obviously now says see partial line of sight, so it depends on how much that partial line of sight was added.
Yeah.
Because that now is blocking any part. Standing behind barbed wire does technically give you cover now.
Yeah, and before I would have made that, I would have probably made that argument anyway. But
I think nobody before, like barbed wire, potentially said it didn't grant cover.
Well, barbed wire doesn't inherently have rules, though.
Yeah, so I think there's definitely been discussions I've seen on whether barbed wire does, because obviously it's so wide and open, but now it technically does. So yeah, I think it's nice. I hope there's a bit more. My big thing for terrain types is giving a bit more. Hopefully, they've given a bit more distinction onto what difficult terrain, dangerous terrain, and possible terrain.
No, that's all we've got for now. But yeah, it would be nice to get some more detailed, some actual terrain rules rather than this just ultra basic set we have now. Yeah, it would be cool to have. Yeah, but even then, that's actually probably a good video as well. So we'll make a note of that one.
Yeah.
Cool. Moving into terrain. Change to moving into terrain. A model is said to be in a piece of terrain if more than half of its base is within the boundary of that terrain. Yeah. So I guess that would be. I'm guessing they've added this to clarify for close quarters combat. Is my.
Yeah.
So if you're in a ruined building, and you're on its base, you're going to get it. Because before it was a little unclear, like, does the ground count? But that also then gives you
cover for it too.
But it needs to be. Oh, yeah, that's interesting. But it still would need to be interceding.
Yeah, but if you're, say, in a L-shaped building, if you're counting the boundary as the triangle that L-shaped building makes, you technically now get cover being inside that building and don't have to be up against the actual wall. I think that's
unclear because here above it does say you need to be in contact, and in contact is defined up above about like actually touching. Not, and I don't think it's the downward in a horizontal.
Yeah, true. I guess contact.
Yeah,
is contact is clarified as a touching.
Yeah, and being on it's weird because being on it you're in contact, but the way it talked about it above is more. Yeah, and that's So it's a little unclear, but I think that's the way to play it. Still, is that you need to be in contact with the wall of the with the window that you're being shot through to get cover from them.
It depends, though. Does terrain have like, if you've put like an area thing around the terrain piece to like, so you can put some little rocks and stuff on it or give it a floor. Does that floor section count as a base? Because it does say contact does state base touching base.
Yeah. I think that's more talking about
I think that's models, that's in the terrain needs some more clarification.
Yeah, the terrain rules are still a bit meh.
Yeah.
Yep.
As we said. Next up, page 41. Flying. Remove the flying rule. See the flying keyword instead.
Yep.
So get to flying when we get to it, but yeah, flying has been changed.
It now makes sense.
It now works.
But like before, it was just weird.
Dumb.
It was not flying. It was like hoverboard.
Yeah, it worked in the sense it didn't break the game by implementing the rule. It didn't give you flying though.
Yes. Cool. Page 45, multiple melee attacks. Change. Multiple melee weapons. A model that has 2 melee weapons can use the fight action to make 2 separate melee attacks, one with each weapon in the order of your choice. The weapon used for the second attack is referred to as the offhand weapon. See melee attack modifiers below. You can pick the same or different model as the target of each attack. if a model has two melee weapons and one or both of them have the cleave keyword, pick one of them and make the melee attack with it. If it has the cleave keyword, carry out all of its attacks one after the other. Then pick the other melee weapon to make a melee attack with it using the offhand modifier. If it has the cleave keyword, carry out all of the attacks rather out one after the other with the offhand modifier. So yeah, before people were arguing that you could make your offhand attack first and then do your other attack, where now that's been tied up, it is nice and clean now. Whatever weapon you choose to strike with second is your offhand.
Yeah, and I think also interestingly, for like granted cleave we'll get to when we cover the new keyword, making essentially forcing you to have cleave go first is nice. Yeah, I like this change.
No, cleave can go second. The last line, a melee attack with it using offhand modifier.
Off has. Sorry, it says if one or both of these weapons have cleave, pick one of them and make a melee attack with it. If it has a cleave keyword.
So if it has the cleave keyword, it's not saying you have to do it first. And then the last line talks about using if you use cleave as your offhand, all of the individual attacks get the offhand modifier.
Okay, yeah. Oh, okay, so it's just saying that you have to do all of your cleave in one go.
It's and it really should talk about something like the Assassin's Dagger, which gives you two attacks from the one weapon. Because if I use that as my offhand weapon, it would apply to both of them as well. And that is probably the other example it needs here. Unless that weapon's been changed as well and I missed it. I
almost guarantee the assassin weapon has been given cleave now instead.
Yeah.
Because that's essentially what cleave X is.
Yep. Injury rolls. Add the following line to the end of this section. Note that if a rule says a model is taken down or out of action, apply the appropriate result from the injury roll table in full. This means a model that is taken down will have a blood marker placed besides it.
I think that's
what am I missing here? Sorry, I'm missing something.
So I think it's, by the sounds of it, someone may have argued that when something went down, it wasn't getting a blood marker or something. If someone was arguing that, go play in the corner by yourself.
I don't get why what the out of action part is, why that's mentioned here. Yeah, but anyway, sure. Yeah, if someone was making that argument, that's very silly.
Yeah. Page 47, bloodbath rolls. Change to, when you make an injury roll for an enemy model, you can spend 6 markers, 6 blood markers, or 3 blood markers if the target is down, to convert the injury roll to a bloodbath roll. To make a bloodbath roll, roll 3d6 and add all 3 dice together. Add +/- injury dice and +/- injury modifiers in the same way you would for an injury roll, except that you pick the 3 highest dice or 3 lowest dice of the roll instead of the 2 highest or lowest. If the injury dice has the deadly keyword, instead roll 4d6 and add all 4 dice together.
Yeah, so that's just a cleanup to work with the new keyword.
To work with deadly, yeah.
Yeah, the thing I actually wish they would add to the game is, because we've already got
I think it's also cutting down to saying it's rolling 3d6. I think it used to be before added 1 dice and pick the 3 highest and or lowest.
But then that is how it's still but it worded a bit more clumsy before.
Now saying you roll 3 dice, you're not adding. It's so then you can't say, but I've been told to add a dice so that may cancel out a minus dice or something. It's you are doing a 3 dice.
Yeah, and that was in the FAQ. There was something about that in the FAQ before, so. Yeah, but what I wish they would add to the game, because at the moment we've got plus and minus injury dice, we've got plus and minus modifiers, so that's your armor and like your blood 2-handed weapons. What I wish they'd actually add as well to clean this up further would be count. So by default you always count 2, But if you, in this case, you get count +1, and then count plus, you get up to infinite number of count pluses if you have the sources for it, and that would just, it would mean when you're stacking them, it's a much cleaner wording to go with. Like, you don't necessarily need to then have if an injury roll has the deadly keyword, instead roll 46 add all 4 dice together. And that way, if you want to add more things that potentially add more to the count, it's infinitely scalable.
Yeah, I think it sort of does that anyway.
Well, here now, it actually did that better before, where now it says that, yeah, if you've got this other rule, it goes to 46. So now it's actually more explicit about, yeah. But anyway, it's not an issue at the moment.
Yeah.
Cool. 49. Down results, 4th bullet point. Until the models stand. This is just the in the comprehensive rules this time. So yeah, no need to rehash that one.
For any reason else it falls. Yeah. Page 49. Down results. Last bullet point, second sentence. Change to take a success roll for the model before it's taken down. So that's just,
and that's for falling, yeah.
Yeah, it's clarifying that, yeah, you just do the fall test before you're downed.
And taking the penalty for being down on that check.
Yes.
Yeah, which I do like, because it means that when you're like still up and got your faculties to you, you're less likely to fall off than if you're like panicking on the ground and then get knocked off again, or your balance get knocked. So it's like, you know what? Cool, I like it.
Well, and it also makes more sense logically in the sense of you don't fall over and then fall again. It's you're falling off the edge as part of you falling over from being shot.
Yeah, the argument you can make though is you're falling down because you've already been knocked semi-unconscious, so that's why you're taking a penalty.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the main thing, like I was doing that way because it wasn't clear to me back in 1.63 about that, but then, or was it? Yeah, in some point it wasn't clear. But anyway,
yeah, it's a fine change. Next up, page 52. Keyword glossary, first paragraph. Change to rules governing all keywords in the game are listed here. A model, a piece of battle kit, a marker, or a terrain piece can have one or more keywords. They define the core abilities, rules, troop types, and damage categories in the game. Keywords appear in the rules in capitals to make it easier for you to spot them.
This is definitely it's a bit of a backslide from what they were initially talking about. Like, Thomas was making a real effort to try and keep the keyword section as small as he possibly could. But I think he's come to realize there's just too many things that share the same rule, thus it's much easier to have a keyword to keep it all consistent.
Yeah, I am a big fan of keywords. I remember the days of 8th edition 40k where there was obviously a key set of abilities they were giving units in that game. All of them functioned the same.
And like, it was like infiltrate, right? Like everything that had infiltrate had it written out.
Yeah, it was because all of them were given a cool faction or fluff specific wording for the name of their ability, and then the text for that ability was always basically the same.
Yeah,
I think.
And you see that a bit still, and that does still exist in the rules because you've got a couple of different versions of +1 to dash.
I am perfectly fine with giving a unit a unique name for a thing, and then that being this ability, whatever your unique faction name is for that ability, gives you X keyword. I think that's fine.
Yeah, definitely.
It does make the game feel like thematic, but it makes understanding the game mechanics easier. I think keywords are fantastic, and I'm glad, as much as Trench Crusade may have tried to avoid having them, I'm glad they're here.
Yeah. 52, keyword, ammunition, keyword, effect. That was, yep. If a model has a piece of battle kit with this keyword, it will use it in the next game that it takes part in. When a model is deployed, say which ranged weapon the battle kit will be used for, it gains the keyword until the end of the game. A ranged weapon you choose cannot have the blast, fire, gas, or shrapnel keywords, and cannot have more than one ammunition. and that's just stopping some really silly combos where you're getting like grenade launches that also gas and things. I can't remember the exact. I can't recall what the exact use case was, but it was very silly and it was causing a lot of blood markers. Yeah.
Yeah, it's giving stuff that had like you can't give now, for example, the punt gun incendiary ammunition.
Yeah, because already has shrapnel, yeah.
Cool. It has shrapnel. So yeah, that's fine.
Yep.
52. Armor piercing keyword. Change to a weapon with this keyword reduces the target's total injury modifier from its armor characteristic and or any armor or shields it has by 1 to a minimum of 0. For example, if the target has a standard armor and a trench shield, the minus injury modifier will be lowered from -2 to -1.
Yep, it's a good way to have anti-armor in the game, but not have it be just all or nothing.
Yeah, and I think it also just it tidies up that rule. So that's fine.
Yep. 53, automatic keyword first sentence. Change to when you take a shoot action with a ranged weapon that has this keyword, you can make a number of attacks with this weapon equal to X, one after the other. I assume that's just tidy up. Yeah,
I think I think it's the big thing is the one after the other. As well, I think it just
that was there in the last. That was clean in 1.0.1.
Okay, that's cool.
Because the SMG doesn't have automatic; it has its own rule, which does allow you to shoot, move and then come back at the end, which I love because the idea of like an SMG is a much smaller, like a go around a corner and fire another shot off. So it helps give it that identity. I almost wish there was automatic and another keyword just so that way you can have other weapons with it as well. Like almost kind of wish the automatic shotgun maybe had it, but anyway, let's keep moving because this is going to be a while.
Blast keyword. Change blast X effect. A ranged weapon with the blast X inches has a blast radius in inches equal to X, including vertically. When you make an attack with the weapon, you must pick a target for the attack. The target can either be an enemy model or a visible point on the battlefield or a terrain piece. Whichever you choose must be within the attacking model's line of sight and within the weapon's range. If the success roll for the attack is a failure, the attack misses and nothing happens unless the weapon also has the scatter keyword. See scatter. If the success roll for the attack is a success or a critical success, every model that is line of sight to the target of the attack and is within the weapon's blast radius is hit. In addition, friendly models that are within 1 inch of any models that was hit by the blast radius are also hit. Measure on the blast radius from the center of the model's base or the center of the visible point you pick to the closest point on the other model's base. Make an injury roll for every model that was hit. If you roll a critical success, only add the extra injury dice to the model that was chosen as the attack of the target.
Yep, that's mostly cleanup, I believe.
The big thing that's changing is stating that you have to measure from the center of the model's base.
Yeah, right. I think that yes.
Blast.
Yeah,
because that came up in our game for when we were throwing grenades.
Yeah.
When we played Dragon Hunt, of placing it in ways that you're hitting things but not clipping.
Oh, right, of course. Yeah, no, I blanked on that. Yeah, that is a good change.
So that's just a nice clarification.
Well, it's not even that's just a full addition to the rules, and it's a good addition. Because it stops the grenades doing the sniping stuff. Well, what I did come across, if you're playing a 4-way, you got 4 warbands on the table because you're doing Mad Lad stuff, and there's a combat that has everyone's moles in it. You're only going to hit the enemy and I clip your model, and I've got a model next to yours, but then the other 2 players have a model within 1 each of your model. They don't get hit. It's only your model, my model, not them.
No, because it still mentions every model that has line of sight and is within the weapon's blast radius.
No, but they're not in the blast radius. They're just next to your model.
Well,
my model isn't under it. I'll put a little image up.
Friendly models that are within 1 inch of an enemy. Yeah. No, I see what you mean. Yeah,
it explicitly only. So it means you, and the reason why I think it's like that, it means I can't. chain other I can't chain your other models that are within 1 inch.
Yeah, you're not
But yeah, it should just
exploding.
be all models that are not friendly to the model that you've hit.
Yeah.
And sure, doesn't mean you can do some weird chainy things there, yes, but if you're doing multiplayer games, you should be living for the chaos. 53, keyword. Add the following keyword, cleave, effect. When you take the fight action with a weapon that has this keyword, you can make a number of melee attacks with this weapon equal to X one after another. The attacks can target different enemy models as long as they are within 1 inch of the model taking the fight action. Resolve each attack one at a time using steps 2 to 4 of the melee attack sequence. Any block markers that are spent only modify the injury roll for the attack they are spent on, and do not modify injury rolls on subsequent attacks. It's all sad you need that last sentence, but
I no,
because
I
nothing
get
else
it.
has blood markers carry over like that, so that should be covered in the blood marker rules and not need to be stated again. But anyway, yeah, right. So no, I completely understood what cleave was.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool, and yeah, so you're right. The assassin's dagger would have cleave too now,
Yes.
I assume, and we'll get to that change. Cool. Yeah, good
Yeah.
change. Makes it easy to do multi attacks and keep it clean.
Sort of. There is a caveat to that
Okay.
that we will get to. New keyword. Add the following new keyword. Dangerous terrain. Effect. If you activate a model that is in terrain with this keyword, or if you move a model into terrain with this keyword during a move, you must take a risky success roll for the model. If the roll is a success or critical success, you can carry on with the model's move, and you do not have to take any more risky success rolls for the model if it moves into any more terrain with this keyword as part of that move. If the roll is a failure, you must make a injury roll for the model and its activation ends. Sometimes Dangerous Terrain will have one or more keywords in brackets directly after it. Any injury rolls caused by the Dangerous Terrain rule have those keywords. For example, if a terrain piece has the Dangerous Terrain fire keywords, and then any injury rolls would count as having the fire keyword.
The only thing I don't like about the rule, and that's actually how it was before, is the fact that if I go rub to a piece of barbed wire, I pass that check. I can then move and go
Into
for a
other
different
dangerous
piece
terrain.
of barbed wire. Yeah,
Yeah,
I wish it only counted for that piece, just because like your faster models are already faster, right? Like, yeah. And that way it means you could do area barbed wire, and the idea is if you can get through it in the one turn, you're fine. Like, especially if it's like low to the ground, so like you have to like commando crawl under it or something.
Yeah, I agree. I
Yeah.
think being able to run through one thing and then being immune to all of the dangerous terrain for the next 30 seconds is weird.
Yeah.
But
otherwise, it being able to add like the keyword fire and all that's really cool. And it means you're not having to jank that yourself. But yeah, I do kind of wish that terrain was its own rule section and wasn't having to go into the keyword. But yeah,
I think
because this is something that does. I feel like this section terrain should be elevated to its own section.
terrain, yes and no. I think terrain. Talking about what terrain is and giving some examples of terrain pieces and what keywords you would give them, should be its own section. I think that then the keywords being in the keyword section is fine.
I don't think dangerous terrain should be. That should be the name of the model, and then anything else you're adding to it should be keywords. But
I'm fine with it being here, just because it keeps all the keywords in one spot.
Yeah, that doesn't feel like a keyword, what it's giving us there.
Yeah.
It feels like more like a profile to me. Up next, 54 keyword, add the following new keyword. Deadly effect. When you make an injury roll for an attack with a weapon with this keyword, roll 3d6 and add all 3 dice together. Any plus dice or injury die I shouldn't that's meant to be minus injury dice are added to the roll normally, except that you pick the 3 highest or 3 lowest dice in the roll instead of the 2 highest or lowest.
Yeah, it's just It's combining all of those things that give you roll 3 dice, pick the 3 highest weapons into one.
Yeah.
Keywords. Good. Next up, new keyword. Add the following new keyword. Deployable tag. Battle kit that is represented by a model or terrain piece that can be set up during the game.
New keyword. Add the following keyword. Difficult terrain. Effect every 1 inch. A model is moved across terrain with this keyword counts as 2 inches. I do find it weird it's not double the movement cost. Because how does it now work with fractions? That gets all squirrely. But yeah. Like whatever, it's easy enough to play with still.
Yeah. Fire team. Add a model cannot be in more than one fire team. With people trying that, because
yeah, no, that very much feels like trying to carry 2 spears at the same time.
oh no, your dog cannot be. I guess it means if you have a dog, you can't be in a fire team anymore.
No?
Well, a dog makes you a fire. Having a trench dog of some kind makes you a fire team with that trench dog.
Ah, right. Yeah, that's okay. You're already in a fire team.
Yeah, whatever. Why do I need another dude when I have a dog?
Yep.
New keyword. Add the following new keyword. Flying effect. When you make a move, a retreat move, or a charge move with a model with this keyword, you can measure the path at which it travels through the air. It must end the move on the battlefield or on a terrain piece. You must still take the risky success roll for a model if it is activated or ends its move on dangerous terrain, and it cannot end its move on impassable terrain. In addition, do not make any injury roll if the model with this keyword falls.
The only thing I wish that would add to that, that last one, about ignoring the injury roll if you fall, it should also be except for if the model is down, I think. So if you're down already, like you're not able to like get your flight, you're not able to like stop break your fall because you're already panicked. But that's such a niche case scenario anyway. Yeah. So cool. 55. Add the following new keyword. Oh, that's getting fun to say. Impassable terrain. Models cannot be moved into or across a terrain with this keyword. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Add the following new keyword. Mind effect. When a model moves into contact with a marker or a terrain piece with the mind keyword, the mine will detonate unless the model has the negate mine keyword. Interesting. Make an injury roll with the shrapnel keyword for the model that detonates the mine, and then the marker or terrain piece immediately loses the mine keyword. If the model that detonated the mine was not taken down or out of action, it can then continue its model with a flying keyword only detonate a mine if they finish and move in contact with a mine terrain piece. They can fly across it without setting it off.
Add the following new keyword. Regenerate effect.
Actually,
we probably should talk about that last one.
I mean, yes, there's just one thing I want to say. If you have fly, you can land on top of a mine.
Or the mine terrain piece.
Yeah, but it talks about if there's a marker or terrain, so there can be markers with mines, such as I'm gonna go with the trench warfare mission. You get to put a bunch of mine pieces down,
and I wonder if they're still described as having a radius that sets them off.
Maybe, yeah. It's weird that it says models of the flying only detonate a mine if they finish their moving contact with a mined terrain piece. That to me, I don't agree with this. Could be argued that if you land on top of something that's a marker, you don't set it off.
Yeah,
I don't agree with that.
Yeah, no, because the concept of flying in this game is you always land at the end of your movement, so I would be...
Yeah.
And I'm guessing in the rules for those mines, it probably says
it moves
within the trigger for that is actually set by the fact the mole just has moved within that distance.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's probably fine. So yeah, regenerate X effect. When you activate a model with this keyword, before carrying out any actions, you can remove up to X blood markers from the model. Excellent. Yeah, good to have that as a keyword. I wish that was actually a skill you could get.
Yeah, that'd be a cool way to get, it'd be an interesting skill to give.
Yeah.
Risky keyword. Change to risky effect. If you must make a success roll for a model that is using a piece of battle kit that has this keyword, The next success roll becomes a risky success roll. The model's activation or action will end if the risky success roll is a failure. For example, the success roll for an attack made with a weapon with the risky keyword will become a risky success roll. This effect is ignored if the success roll is already a risky success roll. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, they're just
I don't think it's
riskies
changed, but
yeah, I didn't actually realize that was a keyword before, but sure.
yeah, it's the anti-tank hammer has risky,
Yeah. No, I
for example.
yeah, it does. Yeah. So well, yeah, I wonder if has that always been a keyword or not. But anyway, yeah,
I think
sure.
it's been a keyword for a while.
Yeah. Okay, now here's actually an interesting one. Scatter keyword changed to scatter effect. Some weapons with the blast keyword also have the scatter keyword. When you make an attack with this weapon, pick a target and carry out the attack as described in the rules for blast. However, if a success roll for the attack that roll for the attack was a failure, the attack will scatter instead of missing. To see where it scatters to, subtract the success roll from 7. For example, if the success roll was a 4, then the target point would scatter 7 take 4 equals 3 inches. Your opponent must move the attack exactly that many inches in a direction of their choice to a point on the battlefield. On the battlefield, on a terrain piece, or on the base of a model. There must be line of sight between the point that is chosen and the original target of the attack. If this is impossible for any reason, then treat the attack as a miss. Then determine who's hit as described in the rules for blast. So, if I'm standing behind a tall wall and my Praetor's head is sticking out, you basically have to then hit the wall if you scatter.
Yes.
And that's a cool change. I really like it. And it also means you can get some weird situations where, like, if there's two terrain pieces that hem in your shot, so they can only basically go towards you or away from you. So you might be able to actually engineer some situations where you force the blast to be favorable even when it misses by quite a large margin.
And it also means, as a defender, if you're up on a board edge and you're on one side of something and it's shot, you can't push it off the edge of the board.
Yeah, and the other one is, well, if you're in a trench and you've got like box, so your models can actually sit and shoot out of trenches, which I think you should always have if you're actually using trenches, have the option to put a box down so you can actually be elevated to shoot out of a trench. Is that, yeah, like, because you can only see the model's head, you can target them, but if your blast misses, there's a chance that you may not actually be able to, you'll have to have it up higher. Yeah, it'll be somewhere on the ground around it. Which means the blast isn't going into the trench and hitting other moles around it. It will probably still hit the mole up high, but other ones down low in the trench wouldn't be hit, per se. And something actually I meant to talk about when we're on blast is, because I wish I'd say, if you have cover from the point of where the blast is going off, it actually gives -1 injury dice to the injury roll.
Yeah.
And that then plays in with scatter really well. It's a little bit nichey, but it would give that bit of flavor to, and it would just help nerf blast weapons just that little bit, because blast weapons at the moment are overall very powerful.
Yeah, no, I agree. Next up, skirmisher keyword change to: if an enemy selects a friendly model with this keyword as the target of a charge, you can choose to invade with your model before the charge is made, as long as your model is not within 1 inch of an enemy. When a model invades, roll a d3 and move a model that many inches. It must finish its move more than 1 inch away from all enemy models. If the move results in there being a imposing model between the invading model and the model that's making the charge, then the charging model must choose the interposing model as the target for its charge. I didn't know that was a keyword already, so
yeah, that's one of the early ones actually, if I recall correctly.
This is what I get for playing Trench Pilgrims. We're not sneaky. So
And I
But
could
yeah,
have,
it's
I thought they'd added something about skirmishes saying if I'm, and that I know where I'm pulling it from. Because at the moment you select the, when you become the target of the charge, you then make the move. It's not here, but in the commentaries it does talk about if you move out of line of sight, they still know where you went and can charge you, so you don't
yeah.
lose the charge because they went out of line of sight. Because that was a question before.
Okay, I kind of wish that was it here then.
Yeah, like that's one of and that when we do the commentaries, which we'll do as a separate video because we're already taking a long time to get through this.
Good.
Yeah, we'll talk about some of the things there where it's that's going to be a common theme that's going to come up. But yeah, no, that's a good change. I like that. Yeah, you can use your skirmisher to hide behind your bigger, scarier things. I'm not sure how often that will come up in gameplay, but it's nice.
It's nice, yeah.
Yeah, okay, yep, cool. Strong, keyword, second sentence. In addition, it can equip and use one two-handed melee weapon as if it were a one-handed melee weapon. I thought that was the case already. There must have been something in the wording that caused confusion.
It's tidying up the language around the equipping essentially, but just saying it as an equip.
Right,
before it was you could take a two-handed melee weapon and use it as if it was one-handed. So I think it's just tidying up that a language around.
Yeah, because before, if you were doing a strict reading of the rules, the only other thing you'd have in the hand was like a shield, musical instrument, or something that wasn't restricted because you've taken a two-handed melee weapon.
Yeah.
Bam.
Battle kit limit 6 bullet.
I'm just doing that again from the start because of the cough in the middle. Thank you.
Battle kit limit 6 bullet. Change to any number of pieces of equipment or special battle kit. A model cannot have 2 or more pieces of equipment or special battle kit with the same name. Okay, I think that's probably tidying up some weird edge cases where people are trying to take 2
what do you...
sack daggers, maybe? Means you can't take 2 sacrificial daggers.
You can't have 2 or more, yeah. And that's oh no, because clubs aren't equipment. Equipment is its own category. That includes helmets, and that's where we're getting caught up. Yeah, so no, weapons are not equipment. 2 hands, 1 head, and body box out. Final sentence. A model may freely switch between ranged and melee weapon, between actions, slinging unused weapons over the shoulder or stowing them in a holster or scabbard as needed. Yep, cool. Shields introduction. Add a shield does not block line of sight to a model that is carrying it.
If you had ever tried to argue this, actually, I guess with no, I was about to say something, but I will take it back. Because you do not count something you're carrying as part of the model, I could semi-get the argument, but at the same time, go play with yourself in a corner.
Yeah, and I guess the interaction with the ballistic shield that new Antioch have, that the mechanized heavy infantry can carry, that I think gives cover to friendly models as well, or it gives cover to themselves. And actually, it might just be it gives cover just to the mechanized, but yeah, it cleans up that interaction. But it is one of those ones. It's pretty funny that had to be said.
Yeah. Armor piercing bullets. Add the ammunition armor piercing keyword and delete the special rule.
You know what? We're just gonna skip these ones. I'm now.
There is a bunch of the. Yeah, armor piercing bullets, dum bullets, field trying, incendiary ammunition, tracer bullets.
Yeah.
They're just
that's just cleanup.
Implementing the keyword system that they've now introduced.
Yes. So now we're getting in some that are going to be a bit more nichey because these look like they're going to be the patron skills, but let's try and just smash through these. Learned say knowledge of science first sentence change to the limit of 1 item battle kit excluding glory items is increased by 1 if the model with this skill is a part of the warband. Cool.
Learned say logistic skills in warband that includes a model with this skill can increase any limits on the number of models it can include by 1 as long as the model does not have the elite keyword is not mounted on a 50 mil base or larger, and is not a mercenary.
Yep, so I think
Cool.
there's not many things that the 50 mil would exclude.
Shrine.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, basically that shrine and your brazen ball, because I presume Learned Saint is also Iron Sultanate.
Probably, yes.
Sublime Gate, imported wares. Imported wares, you can purchase one weapon or suit of armor from New Antioch Armory for a model with this skill in the following Quartermaster step. Choose the weapon or suit of armor and write down your choice on your warband roster. If this item is lost for any reason during the campaign, you can repurchase it. I think it's just the repurchasing part that's new, but I'm not sure. Either way, cool.
I'm guessing also making it done in the Quartermaster step is probably a change.
Potentially.
Sublime Gate, Sultan's favorite first sentence. A warband that includes a model with this skill can increase any limits on the number of models it can include by 1, as long as the model does not have the elite keyword, not mounted at 15 or base or larger, and is not a mercenary.
Oh, so this is just the Iron Sultanate version. Cool. Order of the Wing Fly, Wings of the Fly, change to a model with this skill gains the flying keyword if it does not already have it. Cool.
Changing it to fly. Mamoon, money can buy anything. First sentence. The limit of one item of battle kit, excluding glory item, is increased by 1 if the model of the skill is part of a warband.
Yeah, so it's just tightening up all those ones. Okay, here we get to some more interesting changes. Captured, second sentence. Before continuing the trauma step, you and your opponent from the game can negotiate a ransom price in ducats for the release of the model. But what happens if you can't come to... I know there's more sentences, but I don't think that's really covered properly at the moment anyway.
I think the big thing is you can't have the rest of your trauma step finished before you negotiate pricing.
Yeah, I kind of wish there was the case that... Actually, no, do you know what's awful about that? You may not have ducats left. If you've reinforced at the end of your last game, you haven't got money to trade.
Yeah.
But not that said, money in this game is so...
at that point. I don't think you necessarily need to pay at that point. You just need to negotiate the price.
Yeah, the problem is, captured in this doesn't work as well as it did in Mortheim, just because in Mortheim you had money and... you always had money and you didn't have... you didn't as reliably get money, so giving up gold crowns was a lot more consequential. So I don't know how to fix capturing this other than just getting rid of it, but anyway.
You have to rewrite it entirely.
Yeah.
Sorry. This model no longer gains experience. You can also assign promotion dice to this model as if it were a troop in the promotion and experience step. If one of its assigned promotion dice rolls a 6, it regains the ability to gain experience points, although the battle scar remains.
Yeah, and that's now the best way they've written this rule. It's taken a couple goes to get there, but we've gone there.
Now, this may be because I've missed it in previous rulings, but the way that reads, you are still an elite for that rule.
Yes.
Okay, cool. So you don't drop
and that's the
out
fix,
Yeah, I think that's a big change because I originally thought it dropped you out of being an elite.
And that was actually a 1.63 thing, I believe. I think 1.0 actually did fix it and then it got broken again in 1.01 or something. But anyway, it's fixed now.
Cool. Not being an elite that is taking up a slot that can't get experience is a big thing. So cool.
Yeah, no, that's a perfectly fine injury. Assign promotion dice. Change to after you have filled the promotion dice pool, you must assign the dice in the pool to the troop models in your warband that can be promoted. You cannot assign a third dice to the same model until all troops in the warband have at least 2 dice, or assign a 4th dice to a troop until... Yeah, cool. I think it's just saying that you can keep going on it, because I think before it was just about the 3rd dice, but that's not much. It's just a logic change there, or making it logical.
Yeah, promoting a model. When a troop model receives a promotion, they immediately gain the elite keyword and are considered to be an elite model for then on, including for the rest of the promotion experience step. Cross out their old entry on your warband roster and write in a new one for them in the elite model section. They begin with 0 experience points, but will gain at least 1 due to surviving the game, after which they were promoted.
Oh, I don't think it's going to come up later on, but because the argument I've been making for a while is you actually get the experience point if you complete a glorious deed during the game as well, and because it says at least one, like it
Yeah,
opens that like door for me a bit more to make the argument.
I think you always did because you are the way it is done is you promoting, and this was a big change in 1.10 where they clarified the timing versus promoting versus
Yeah,
experience.
because you don't
By
get
putting
experience
promoting in
immediately.
front of experience gaining, it means you are an elite for the point at which you do
Yeah,
experience,
the
which
argument,
essentially
the pushback
reward.
against my argument is that it says in the glory things that you get the experience immediately, but that then contradicts in the experience. Or it says in the experience
Yeah,
step. So we'll see if that's cleaned up. But yeah, that's how I'm going to keep playing because it makes sense that oh, you did glorious thing. You should get the experience, and it encourages you to promote the model that did the cool thing.
yeah.
Okay, so this one we've been talking a bit about accidentally. Champion skill. Change to a melee weapon that do not have the cleave keyword, which are used by a model with this skill. Gain the cleave to keyword instead. Add -1 dice to the success roll for the second melee attack with each melee weapon that gains the cleave to keyword. I feel like they could have dropped the -1 keyword with the way this rule is written now, because before people using it to get an extra attack on from both of their weapons, their main and primary. Sorry, their primary and their offhand. Where now we're
Which
being
you
limited to
can do.
one weapon, it's like, do
No,
you?
no. So that is not the problem. My issue with it is so you do get it for both because it says melee weapons. So it's anything that doesn't have cleave gains cleave. My issue is it is so clunky now for how the add-on that -1 dice. Um, yeah, I feel like, and this is I think a little bit of a problem with a few of the skills that give something that has a keyword. They've tried to keep the old like penalties involved, and it just makes them really clunky.
So I'm
We'll
missing
get
what's
to
actually clunky there, because no, so you're completely right. I didn't take in that it does apply to
yeah,
both
it's that it
weapons.
add the -1 dice to the success roll for melee attacks that made with each melee weapon that gains a cleave 2 rule. It's not like it's not super clunky. I just when I read it the first time, I was just like, that just it's such
I
a
don't know how you make that clearer though without having to add a lot of words. It's just one that you have to read, take a breath, and
yeah,
then read again. And it's like, oh, cool, that does actually make sense.
yeah. Gunslinger. Change to Gunslinger. The following rules apply to a model with this skill if it is armed with a ranged weapon with the pistol keyword. If it is equipped with 2 weapons with the pistol keyword, it can take the shoot action with one and then immediately take a shoot action with the other. Add the assault and ignore offhand weapon keywords to any weapons that have the pistol keyword unless they already have them.
Yeah, and the offhand one's actually a really cool little change because it means you can, if you are going like club pistol, using the pistol as your second weapon, then yeah.
Yeah, it makes you better
Although does
fighting
that only
pistol.
work if you've got 2 pistols?
No. Yeah.
No, because they're separate
No, because they're
paragraphs. Yeah,
separate sentences.
yeah, the
Yeah.
paragraphs I would say denote that it's different.
Yeah.
Yep, cool. Oh, and here's one that's close to my heart. So what have they done to my baby skills and expertise? Change to skills and expertise. When you give a model this skill, choose one action on that model's warband entry or one common action apart from the fight or shoot actions and write it on your warband roster. Add +1 dice to rolls made as a part of the chosen action when they are taken by this model. That hurts my soul. Like before, the skill was way too powerful because you could do it on you could use it 3 or 4 times in a turn on some models, and you were going to do that very consistently. And now it's limited just to one thing. It's like, oh, like what I was hoping they would do to it was changing it so that you could just use it once per turn, but each turn you could pick a different skill to use it on, just showing that the fighter is a veteran.
To be honest, that doesn't sound like you're an expert. That sounds more like jack of all trades. I My only change to this one, I think the change they made is good. My only change was I would then allow you to get the skill multiple times, picking a new action each time.
And that would definitely fix some issue with it. And first thing, I think a veteran is going to be a more jack of all trades, so that doesn't really
It's
put it
not
off
that
of
the
me.
skill is so yeah. I think that
Yeah,
gives
so the
you,
name of the skill. Yeah, fair.
yeah, I think that gives you room to actually add a new skill in.
Yeah, otherwise, if you just made skills and expertise, you actually get a +2 to it, make it like, just go big on it.
Yeah.
That's I guess for certain niche skills like my Lash of Arcan that I've gotten from a patron skill, but that having just +1 is kind of bonkers because that does ignore it's a skill check and then ignores armor injury rolls. So having +1 on that is pretty getting to +2 would be pretty nuts. Because that
Same for,
even
say,
going and having a quick look at
in the rapid goal.
the helpful probability chart. Yeah, like +1 dice getting you to that 81%, where +2 is at 91%.
Yeah. No, I'm fine with that. Reinforcement sequence. Change to, if you call for reinforcements, you must forego the exploration and the quartermaster step, completely go directly to the roster step.
Yeah, and I think before they said that, they just said it in a lot more words.
Yeah.
Glory items intro paragraph. Okay. Change 2. Glory items are pieces of battle kit. They are similar in many ways to battle kit that can only be purchased with ducats that are found in the armory tables of a faction list. However, glory items can only be purchased during a campaign, and if the warband has made a discovery from the exploration table that allows them to take glory item for free or purchase it in the quartermaster step. For example, Trench Merchant discovery on the common exploration table allows warband to purchase glory items costing 5 glory or less.
I think what that's changed is you can now no longer buy stuff that's on your list at any stage.
So yeah, I just had a quick look over the 1.0.1 rule, and I'm not sure what the difference is. I haven't gone through and compared word for word, but I'm guessing it's just cleaning something up. Yeah, you can still anything on your actual warband list, they can still be purchased without having to find the to find a trench merchant or similar. This is for items in the core rulebook talking about the glory items you can find on campaign. It's a little weird that it doesn't talk there about how to handle one-off games. It does a little bit in the commentaries, which is just like we say not to do it, but do what you want. But they could have done something a bit more expansive, like.
Well, technically, they do say glory items can only be purchased in a campaign, so you can't purchase them in one-off games.
Yeah, I wish they gave a framework for that instead. So if you're playing bigger games, here's what we recommend. Yeah. So they set a standard rather than just going, oh, we're just not going to do that. Like Mortheim in its core book had rules for how to do one-off games with buying skills for your characters.
Yeah.
And also, Millie did actually miss a way of how to determine what rare items are going to be available, but there's been quite a few different systems people have come up with like a point buy system and other weird things to keep rare items feeling rare in tournament one-off games. Cool. Armor of the Fly keywords. Add the okay, more of these ones. Yep.
Yeah. Local type, change type to special. Actually, Beelzebub's Embrace. So change the type to special and change the many leg form special to. A model that has been blessed with Beelzebub's Embrace has had its arms replaced with fly-like limbs. The model cannot have weapons, grenades, shields, or equipment that has the held keyword. It can make an attack with the cleave 4 keyword, even though it doesn't have any melee weapons. If all 4 melee attacks are successfully hit the same target model, and the target model is mounted on a 32mm base or smaller, then the target is immediately taken out of action when it is hit by the 4th attack. Do not make an injury roll for the 4th attack, and any rules or abilities that would change the result do not apply. E.g., the tough keyword would not affect the 4th attack. Interesting. That's cool.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the change is there, but cool.
It's probably giving it cleave 4.
Yeah, you're exactly right. Yep. Damascus armor type box on profile. Change type from equipment armor. Yep. That was a weird broken thing that people were like, oh, what does this mean? It's like it's armor, guys. Calm down.
The call winged armor, add the flying keyword, and change type of equipment to armor. Cool.
Field hospital, change the type to special, and change the field hospital special to a field hospital cannot be allocated to a model, but is instead added to your arsenal. If your warband also includes a combat medic, alchemist, or a sister of Saint Comus, at the end of the trauma step in the campaign phase, you can use the field hospital to treat one model from your warband that has one or more battle scars. If you do so, roll 2d6 on the roll of a 7+, you can remove one battle scars. On the roll of a 3d6, nothing happens. On the roll of a 2, the model receives one battle scar. Yep, that's. I almost wish that there was a. If you rolled a critical, you could actually fully reverse the lost arms, like a miracle just happens, because it's just funny. It's thematic. Like they've been keeping the arm pickled, and they finally managed to get it to take back on or something. I'm here for that level of divine intervention.
Horn of Joshua, blow thy horn. And once a model successfully taken the blow thy horn action, it cannot be used again in the same game.
Yeah, it needed that. Because that's the one that destroyed terrain, isn't it?
It's the one that you blow up terrain. That is fair that you can only do that once a game, I guess.
Yep. Yeah, and all this change of special it fixes all those items that were wait, does this count as a weapon? Does it count as equipment? What's going on there?
Yeah.
That's all fine.
Sniper scope. Add a sniper scope cannot be really allocated during the quartermaster step. That's funny. That makes sense though. If you give a guy a cool scope, he's not gonna give that shit away. Fuck you.
It's a scope. You can just unscrew and screw on something else, but whatever, sure.
Yeah, but no, the guy won't let you. He threatens to shoot you if you try.
Yeah, but no, I want to give you a machine gun to put it on. Or, yeah. I've got a new better gun for you to put it on.
Well, I think you can still use it on that same gun. You just can't take it away from him and give it to somebody else.
But I'm pretty sure the sniper scope it has to be applied to a weapon, so yeah.
Look, Picatinny Rail hadn't been invented yet. That's why.
Yeah, they were.
Picatinny Rail's not around in World War One.
Okay, Tormented Chain, add the assault keyword and change the dragged forwards to if an attack made by the Tormented Chain is a success or critical success, do not make an injury roll for the target. Instead, place one blood marker next to the target and then place a second blood marker on the target because the Tormented Chain has the shrapnel keyword. After placing the blood markers, you can move the target model up to 12 inches in a straight line, but you must move it so that it finishes the move as close as possible to the attacking model. This move can be used to make a model move in 1 inch of an enemy model, make a retreat move, climb, jump, or jump down. The model cannot make a diving charge. So yeah, the big thing there is actually just it having assault again, because it didn't have assault in this version, so you could pull someone to you, but then you couldn't attack them.
Cool. Trench Dog. Game's deployable.
Yep. Glorious Deeds, hold your ground. Chain, hold your ground. Warband is the first to pass a morale check in this game. You receive a victory point for achieving this glorious deed. In a campaign game, you can award 1 experience point to one elite model from your warband that has the leader keyword. If you have one available, you receive glory points and an extra D6 for your promotion pool as you would normally. Yeah, okay, cool. It cleans it, because before it was wait, does the leader get an experience point for it? But yeah. I think it should probably be if your leader was on the field when you did it, but because then it plays into if the leader wasn't there, and otherwise you get it, but you have to give it to someone randomly. That was the guy who actually held the line.
Yeah, now it goes to the leader, so that makes sense.
Yeah.
Resistant Bite. It works again. Friendly model that began its activation down takes an enemy model out of activation in the same activation.
Yeah.
Cool. That glory point is scoreable again.
Yeah, a little silly they didn't catch that in the changeover, but they fixed it. Machine gun emplacement marker. Each machine gun emplacement can be used once per turn. Which, yes, obviously, but
this is for Hunt for Heroes, the mission.
Yeah.
As someone that has played this mission both ways of limiting you using the machine gun to once per turn and not limiting the machine gun, not limiting the machine gun on that mission was stupid.
And
Don't do
actually,
it.
I'm not sure if it does, but if it didn't gain the reload keyword as well, so like once you shoot it, you actually have to stay on it, like it ends your activation.
Yeah, so you stand next to it, but you can fit other dudes next to it, so you can just keep.
I'm not sure if they did. It did actually gain the reload, but if it hasn't,
It did because the machine gun gained reload.
Yeah,
the machine gun in place that just gives you a machine gun to use. Yeah.
Cool. Unforeseen events. Second sentence. On the roll of a 4+, nothing happens, but on a 5 or 6, an unforeseen event takes place. Do not roll again to see if the unforeseen events takes place. I'm not sure what changed there, but sure.
What the change is you don't keep rolling. Sorry.
So before you could have more, could you?
It's because essentially it's in Hunt for Heroes again. So there's a bunch of unforeseen events that can happen, such as the holes forming. That sort of thing. You kept rolling every turn, even if holes.
Yeah, so you could get multiple. Yeah.
Now you can't. Which.
Yep, I didn't realize that was the case, but sure.
I would. I think I'd rather see the chance of an unforeseen event taking place go up then slightly.
Yeah, it becomes a 6, and then after you've had your second one, maybe no more, just to keep things manageable.
I would rather just say have it on a 1 to 4, an event happens, and then you don't roll again. Give it a 50-50 chance of something happening.
Yeah, because across the game, though, you have a pretty good chance of having it on a 5 or a 6. It's just, how early.
It's just there's at least one that's important to glory for that mission.
Yeah. Deployment 6 sentence. Change to models mounted on 40 mil or larger bases count as 2 models for this purpose. Oh, which mission is that? 159. Yeah, let's check out which mission that is. Oh, Relic Hunt. Oh, so they got rid of the bay. They've changed the base size requirement then. Because before it was like models on a certain size base just couldn't play.
No, it's because bigger models just count as multiple now.
Yeah, but before was you couldn't use the models on bigger bases.
Couldn't you? Okay.
Yeah, no. So this is actually quite a big change. It improves the mission a lot.
That's cool. Okay. Mine markers change to after the defender has set up their trenches. They can set up to 12 mine markers with their mine placement area. After setting up the mine markers up, the defender must secretly write down which 4 of the mine markers are duds. All of the other mine markers are live and have the mine keyword and the following special rule: slaughter mines. As soon as a model moves within 3 inches of a mine marker, temporarily holds its move. The defender must reveal if the mine marker is a dud. If it is, nothing happens. If it is a live mine, it detonates the same way as if a model had moved into contact with a marker with the mine keyword. See mined. The mine marker is removed, and the model can then continue to move as long as it wasn't taken down or out of action. Models with the flying keyword only trigger a mine mark if they finish a move within 3 inches of it. They can fly across without setting it off. It is possible for a single model to cause several mines to explode. When this is the case, the defender chooses the order in which mine explosions occurred. Complete resolve each explosion before moving on to the next one. Cool. So they just clarified when flying trigger it. So yes, cool. They do explode. They don't explode if they land near them.
Yeah, I kind of wish you put the mines on, because it doesn't say what size base put them on, does it? Which doesn't really matter because it should matter because you're measuring from the base for within the.
Yeah.
And then I almost actually wish mines were actually only had I wish they actually had a bigger blast. Like these are like make them like super serious mines, just because I like the idea that a model I like it from a gameplay perspective where I want to not have other models get caught in the blast, where at the moment that's never going to happen because a model will only set it off if it's within the 3 inches, so no model can't be in the blast radius. So I would like to see it where the blast radius was actually 3 inches to trigger, and then it goes off, and even if it's just 5 inches, that 2 more inches, that is a lot more surface space. And if you don't want to make it too mean, you can have minus on injury dice if you're not within 3 inches. Just something to make it so that like that positioning becomes more interesting, and it means as the defender you could actually suicide someone onto the mine to trigger it and then catch your opponent off. Like it becomes more interesting.
Yeah, no, I see that.
Especially where that mission already, I don't know, I think it's a bit of a problematic mission, but yeah.
And it's got trenches in it. It's fun.
Glorious Deeds, Victory or Death. Change to Victory or Death. A warband wins this game. This Glorious Deed is only used in campaign games and is determined after the result of the game has been decided. You do not receive any victory points for achieving this Glorious Deed, but you can award 1 experience point to 1 elite model from your warband that has the leader keyword if you have 1 available, and you receive 1 glory point and an extra d6 to your promotion pool as you would normally.
I think it's just clarifying the whole how do you get victory points and who the experience goes to.
Yeah, and if you've already, and because this one triggers after you've determined who won the game,
yeah,
there's no point adding another victory point, so sure.
Supply cache markers, last sentence, change to only 1 marker can be placed in the defender's deployment zone, and none can be placed within 12 of the attacker's deployment zone.
Yeah, and the issue I've seen with this mission that just comes up is that people deploy the markers where they can be seen from deployment and shot, and that causes it to be a runaway for the defenders. It really should be said in the mission that like they shouldn't be in sight from the attacker's deployment zone, or you have a limit of 1 can be, but yeah, otherwise it's just a bit silly of a mission. Ica pit markers. Change the rule to open ground and terrain within 2 inches of the center of the Ica pit marker is treated as being difficult and dangerous terrain. In addition to any other terrain rules it may have, the Ica pit contains enough Ica to fill 6 Ica vials. See below. We recommend that you keep track of how many vials have been filled from the pit by putting D6 on top of the marker, and Ica pit with no Ica left is no longer dangerous terrain. Oh, so it's within 2 inches of the center of it, but how big should the Ica marker be itself? I guess it can be, because you wouldn't want to make it the full 2 inches, because then otherwise nothing's within 2 inches of it unless they're touching it. Like maybe an Ica pit should be 20. Just to say it should be 1 inch, and then within 1 inch of it for those effects. And there's the whole terrain piece. So if it happens to come. Do the players place them? Yeah, no, they're in the middle, actually. It's a line across the 3.
Okay. That's cool.
Yeah. Anyway, no escape, glorious deed. Change to a friendly model successfully charges an enemy model that did not have line of sight to at the start of its activation. Cool, so that was now achievable.
Yeah. Give me backing out of charge things I can't see. Gas mine markers. Change to after the defender sets up their trenches, they can set up 12 gas mine markers. At least 8 of the gas mine markers must be placed wholly within the mine placement area. Up to 4 can be placed wholly within the defender's deployment zone. After setting the gas mine markers up, the defender must secretly write down which of the 4 gas mine markers are duds. All the gas mine markers are live and have the mine keywords and the following special rule. Choking mines. As soon as a model moves within 3 of a gas mine marker, temporarily hold its move. Defender then reveals the gas mine marker as a dud. If it is, nothing happens. If it's a live mine, detonate the same way it would as if it moved in contact with a mine marker with the mine keyword, except the injury counts as having a gas keyword instead of shrapnel. See mined. Gas mine markers then removed and replaced with a gas cloud marker, and the moving model can then continue to move as long as it wasn't taken down or out of action. Models with flying only trigger the mine marker. If they finish a move with its contact, they can fly across without setting it off. It's possible for a single model to cause several mines to explode. When this is the case, defender chooses the order in which the explosions occur. Completely resolve each explosion before moving on to the next one.
What's a gas cloud marker? Teacher.
I don't really guess the mission explains that one. I'm gonna assume it's that.
That's really cool. It's really cool. I like the idea of it.
I'm excited to play that mission.
Yeah. Okay, warband entries, base bullet point. Change to the size of a base of a model must be mounted on. If a model's base characteristic has a single number, the base is round and the number its diameter. If the model's base has 2 numbers, the base is oval, and the smaller number is the width of the base, and the larger number is the length of the base. What? No, the larger number should be the... Well, I can keep that bit going. Okay, cool.
Keyword glossary. Make the same changes as those made in the keyword glossary in the digital rulebook. See pages 52 to 57 for the digital rulebook change log. It's the keyword section.
Yeah. Special rules, concentrated attacks change to if a model from a fire team hits a target that had been hit by an attack made by another model of their fire team earlier in the same joint activation, then you can spend 3 blood markers to convert the injury roll of the second attack to a blood buff, even if the target is not down.
Cool.
Yeah, that's just fixing up. Just cleaning that up.
Combat engineer. Add the negate mine keyword. Set the mine ability and change diffuse mines as shown below. So, set mine action. A combat engineer can take a set mine action if they are in contact with a terrain piece that measures up to 8 by 8 and that doesn't have the mine keyword. If they do so, take a success roll from the model and add +2 dice to the roll. If the roll fails, nothing happens. If the roll is a success or critical success, the terrain piece gains the mine keyword. Diffuse mine. When you move a combat engineer into contact with a marker or terrain piece with the mine keyword, you can say that the combat engineer will halt and try and defuse the mine before it's detonated. See mined. If you do so, take a risky success roll from the model. If the roll is a failure, then the mine detonates anyway and the combat engineer's activation ends. If the roll is a success or a critical success, the mine does not detonate and the marker or the terrain piece loses the mine keyword. A model that sets a mine up on the terrain piece can defuse the mine automatically if it moves into contact with the terrain piece. Do not take a risky success roll. Cool. Combat ages are fun now. You can run them up.
It's now just it's negate mine keyword. I think is the main change. They're not sure what substantially changed otherwise.
Adding in the mine keyword to the text before.
Yeah, nothing of substance. Yeah, cool. The next one, the next covering skip tank splitter sword that I think is worth talking about.
Paper stands.
Tank splitter sword change to when you make an injury roll for an attack made with a tank splitter sword, determine if the target has armor characteristic that is 1 or greater. If it is wearing armor or carrying a shield. If it does, before rolling the dice for the injury roll, put 1 dice aside and turn it so that it shows a 6. Roll the rest of the dice and then return the dice you put to the side. It counts as having a 6. In addition, attacks made with a tank splitter sword are not affected by the Dragon Slayer patron skill set, which is does the same thing. You can't just immediately roll 2 6s. Cool. Yeah. So I'm guessing that's a clean up somewhere because that's the same, I believe.
Yeah. Communicant, just removing Miracle Regeneration and adding Regenerate 1.
Yep.
The Stigmatic None is a little clunky now in how it's worded because they're trying to use Regenerate keyword.
That one just didn't need to change. That ability was only going to ever be on them. That could have just,
Yeah, so what it is now is add Regenerate keyword and change Blessed Stigmata to each time you remove a blood marker from a None because of the Regenerate 1 keyword, place 1 blessing marker next to the None.
Yeah, I would have been fine with that just being left separate.
Yeah.
But sure, if you really, I guess you're writing these keywords, you want to have use them. Oh, well, you can read this one. You're the Pilgrim Slayer.
Yeah, so Anchor at Shrine, broken on the wheel. Change to broken on the wheel. At the start of each game before deployment, you can say that one Trench Pilgrim or is ecclesiastic prisoner will be broken on the wheel to show their piety and devotion. The model you choose is permanently removed from your warband, but in the campaign, you can redistribute their battle kit to other models that would be allowed to have it in it following the Quartermaster step. Injuries that would be afflicted on the Anchor at Shrine are instead inflicted upon the unfortunate victim until the victim finally passes. This is represented by the following special rules, which apply to the Anchor at Shrine until it suffers a out-of-action result on the injury table. It has an armor characteristic of 0 and does not have the negate and shrapnel and tough keywords. It treats down results as minor hits. The first time the Anchor at Shrine suffers an out-of-action result on the injury table, it is treated as if no effect result. When this happens, any blood markers on the Anchor at Shrine are removed, and from then on, These special rules no longer apply to the model. It has an armor character. These special rules no longer apply to the model. It has an armor characteristic of -3 and negates the negate, shrapnel, and tough keywords. The tough keyword will apply to the next time the shrine suffers an out of action result on the injury table. So the only changes between the 1.01 and 1.2 for that is they've just cleaned up the wording about losing your armor, negate, charges, and shrapnel. Technically, you can't redistribute the battle kit in one-off games now, which is a weird change. But yeah, that's really all that changed for that one.
Yeah. Yeah, it just makes it super clear that, you don't use the armor on the person broken on the shrine.
On the poor dude being shot. Yeah. It's more, I think it makes it more clear that you don't use negate shrapnel as well.
Yeah. Yep, so add Deadly One. Catherine will, it gets Deadly One instead of its Mighty Blow rule, but same difference. Gasfield, a bunch of things changed to special for the take 2. Oh, alchemical ammunition. Add ammunition, +1 dice, remove the models with Zales, siege Zales, and blah blah, and change guiding path to guiding path. Alchemical ammunition can only be used with Alibozos. Albagon, Jezzael, and Siege Zale, even though the Alzabov has the shrapnel keyword. In a campaign, you cannot reallocate alchemical ammunition to another model. Yeah, so the main change there being that the alchemical ammunition is the exception to the rule about not being able to use ammunition on something that already has a shrapnel.
Murad Bombard Echoing Blast. Change 2. If the success roll for a range attack with the Murad Bombard that targets any model is a success or critical success, or the attack is a failure and the target point scatters onto a model's base, apply the effect of the deadly keyword to the injury roll for that model. All other models caught in the Murad Bombard's blast radius or that are in the Murad Bombard's blast radius, if it did not hit the original target model or scatter onto the model's base, are taken down. Do not make an injury roll for them. So it's just giving it deadly.
Yep. Just keyword update. Oh, okay. Yep. What change did they make to this ability? Sultanate Assassin abilities change to Temporal Assassin after determining a charge bonus for the Sultanate Assassin that has not already carried out a fight action in its activation. You can say that the Sultanate Assassin will split itself in through time. If you do so, choose an additional enemy model as the target of the charge. And the normal rules for picking a target apply, but do not count targets of the charge as in interposing enemy models. Then make a charge move with the Sultanate Assassin, which finishes within 1 inch of the first enemy model you picked as the target, and then take the fight action with the enemy model as the target. After resolving the fight action, you must immediately remove the Sultanate Assassin from the battlefield and redeploy within 1 inch of the other model that you picked. Then take a second fight action with the other model as the target. The Sultanate Assassin must use the same melee weapon for both attacks and cannot take the fight action later in the same activation. Yeah, cool. So we'll break that down just because they're two separate abilities. The interesting change there is that you can't normally, if you pick a model, then for your second one you can ignore that first target for the interposing models, which is what's talking about in brackets there, which is an interesting change because before you couldn't use this ability to slip past an interposing model, but now you can.
That's cool.
And it is the fight action, so yeah, if you have a weapon like the Assassin's Dagger
that has cleave,
yeah, I presume you still get cleave then, because it's the same fight action to do that.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, so no, that's that buffs that back up a little bit, I think. And
yeah.
Cool. Time slip. If your opponent fails the success roll for an attack targeting a Sultan Assassin, you can say the Sultan Assassin will slip into a moment into the future. If you do so, you can redeploy it anywhere within 6 inches of the original location, measure from the center of its base to the center of its base, obviously, and move and more than 1 inch away from enemy walls. If the failed attack took place because the Assault Assassin is retreating, the retreat move ends after you redeploy the model. So yeah, you don't get to do a double up on
yeah.
Just thinking, I'm not sure what the change is there, but the interaction now with because it says redeploy, so you're deploying the model, so you can have half your base off the table when you do it. Is a funny little
guess so, yeah.
So it's like, oh, I need to get how far away from you? Well, if I do this, that would feel so jank to do that. But yep, the Sultan Sapper looks like that's just the same updating to keywords as well. So I think we can save ourselves.
Change, but yeah, mind. Fiada of Alamat. I am so sorry to anyone that if this is a legitimate language that we are butchering. Change to a Fiada Alamat warband must include one Master Assassin. The Master Assassin uses the Sultanate Assassin warband entry, except that it gains the leader and the tough keywords, and has a cost of 95 ducats.
Okay, I'm not sure what the change is there, but sure.
So yeah, that's given it the leader keyword. I guess that's pretty good.
Yeah,
we didn't have it before, but
that's definitely one of those ones I just assumed it had before.
Yeah, so did I. But now you can have a Master Assassin actually leading your warband for your Assassin Guild.
Yep.
Cool.
Bo Alamat keywords. Add the assault keyword like you should have always been playing it. It had. Don't know why it lost. Although it never needed it before the changes to charging. Or to making melee, fighting a melee, because before you could fight a melee when you had made a ranged attack, it was only charge that was restricted in that way. But yep, that's been fixed, giving it the assault keyword.
Golden Kanjar, change the limit to 2, remove the attack ties, and add the cleave 2 keyword.
Yep. I thought that had limit 2 already, but yeah.
Yeah, it's using cleave.
Yeah, the cleave is the big thing there. Just chemistry and alchemy change to at the start of the first turn of the game before a model has been activated, you can set up an elemental obelisk terrain piece that is up to 2 inches wide, 6 inches long. It must be set up more than 1 inch away from any other terrain piece and more than 6 inches away from any models. The elemental obelisk has the difficult terrain, dangerous terrain, X keywords. After setting it up, you must say if X is fire, gash, or shrapnel keyword. That's cool. Is that that must be one of the variants that I haven't properly read.
Yeah, I think the big change is the keywords.
And so do the next one. A few of these, and these next ones just look like keyword clean up, so we can even keep pushing on a bit. Banner of the Desert Wind Storm. Models that start an activation within 24 inches of an enemy model that has the banner of the Desert Wind have subtract 1 from their movement characteristics until the end of the activation. This rule does not apply if the model with the banner of the Desert Wind is down. There must be a change. There might be the down thing. Might be the range on it. I'm not sure. Or it might be the effect.
Once again, no one cares about Iron Sultanate.
Hey, in April they might become effective.
To be honest, I hope they do.
Yeah.
Grand Cannon gets deployable. Cool.
Yeah. Tartarus Claws. Change the type of two-handed. Change the type to two-handed. Yep. Add the cleave 2 keyword and change the paired weapons to harrowing assault. If the target is taken down or out of action by a melee attack made with the Tartarus Claws, you can immediately move them all up to 3 inches. You can use this move to move in 1 inch of another enemy model. If you do so, this model can take another fight action. However, it cannot make the 3 inch move again if the second attack takes the target down or out of action. Yeah, so that's mostly just going from 6 inches down to 3 inches because it was just way too powerful.
But if you can get your Death Commando strong, you can now use the Tartarus Claws and something else.
No, because it would still have cumbersome.
Ah, so it has cumbersome.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, yep.
Heretic Priest Puppet Master. If the success roll or critical success, pick one friendly model, friend or foe that is within 12 inches of the Heretic Priest and in their line of sight, apart from the Heretic Priest themselves.
They've added that you can't pick yourself.
Cool. No free Heretic Priest movement.
You know what? That's a fair enough one.
You can't Puppet Master yourself, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, Warwolf Assault Beast. Add negate difficult terrain keyword and change the looping dash to add +1 dice to the risky success roll for the Warwolf when taking the dash action. I really actually wish that it didn't have negate difficult. No, it have negate difficult terrain, but it should.
It had also... already.
Yeah.
Change it to a keyword.
Yeah. What I wish the Warwolf Assault Beast has well though, and this is why we need better terrain rules, like. It should be able to just run up to barbed wire and with a +2 action roll destroy the train piece. Like, because it's like you look at its mouth, it's got all the and it's designed to cut through barbed wire. That's its actual purpose.
Yeah.
Just it'd be cool to have that, but because the train rules aren't great, I think that's
you can't do it. Yeah. Infernal Bomb, Infernal Strike. Change to if the success roll for a range attack with the Infernal Bomb that targets any model is a success or critical success, or if the attack fails and the target point scatters onto a model's base, apply the effects of the deadly keyword to the injury roll for that model. For models that are caught in the Infernal Bomb's blast are made normally. Cool. So just adding deadly.
Yeah. Yep.
And I think just confirming that if you're still on base, you still count as being under it, I guess. Which is...
Yeah, I think that it may have only been on the initial target, but that makes slow special change to slow and creeping. Treat a trench ghost model as having a movement characteristic of 3 inches when it takes the dash action. In addition, add -1 dice to the success roll for attacks made by a trench ghost model on an enemy model that is making a retreat. I'm not sure what the change there because I think they both had those, so it must just be a wording cleanup.
Must be. Golden Calf Altar. Remove consumable keyword, add deployable keyword, and change the illusion special to any models treat open ground and all terrain within 3 inches of a model with a Golden Calf Holder as being difficult terrain if it is not already, even if they have the flying keyword.
Yep.
So that's a boost because it's no longer consumable. So you have to keep buying them.
It was a bit overpriced before.
Yeah.
Grail Devotees, Jealous Obsession. Add Grail Devotees cannot be reallocated unless the model that had them is removed from the Warband roster. How do you get removed from the Warband roster without dying? I guess if you dismiss them, I guess. Yeah.
Miss.
Yeah. Cool. Lord of Tumors, Crushing Blow. Change to a Lord of Tumors can make a Crushing Blow melee attack even if it does not have a melee weapon, or instead of using any melee weapons that it has. If it does so, this melee attack has the cleave to keyword. I'm assuming that's mostly tidy up the cleave.
Yeah. Grail Thorns just gain the flying keyword for fly thralls. Herald of Beelzebub gets the flying keyword and loses the option of having a Grail Devotee.
Yep. Algerman Battle Kit. Changed to an Algerman. It has 6 arms, which allows you to carry a vast combination of different ranged and melee weapons. It can have up to 6 ranged or melee weapons from the Black Grail Armory. In addition, an Amalgamum can treat 2 two-handed weapons with the heavy keyword, regardless of whether they are ranged or melee weapons, as one-handed weapons instead of single two-handed weapon granted by the strong keyword. Remaining two-handed weapons count as 2 separate weapons towards this total. An amalgam cannot have the same weapon more than twice, and it cannot have grenades. An amalgam can have up to 1 trench shield in place of one of its hand weapons, but it does not benefit from the shield combo rule. It cannot have any other battle kit. Ah, right. So you can't use the shield comp. So you can't have a 200 range weapon that you can use shield combo normally. Yep. I was like, what's the point of that?
Yeah,
But
so you
that's
can't
it.
use something that has cumbersome and the shield.
Yeah, or even just a shotgun doesn't have cumbersome, but that's two
That's
handed, but
shield
it has shield
combo.
combo. Yeah, so you
Yeah.
can't do that, which makes sense. You don't need an extra arm. You're already getting a lot of. You can already do a lot of funky things with it.
The Executioner changed to a Dirge of the Great Hemorrhagian Warband must include one Executioner. The Executioner uses a Plague Knight Warband entry, except that it has a range characteristic of +1 dice and the leader and tough keywords, and has a cost of 80 ducats. The Warband can still include 0 to 2 Plague Knights.
Yeah, I'm not sure
I
what the
think
change
it's
is there, but yeah.
I think it's gaining leader again.
Yeah, actually, you're probably right. Now, here's going to be where I can't spot the difference, and I should be able to, considering Court's my main warband. Change the bullet points to a model, and this is about Goek spells. A model cannot cast the same spell more than once per activation. I'm pretty sure that was there already. A spell to cast a Goetic spell, you must remove the number of blood markers from the models equal to the spell's cost. You can remove the blood markers from any models, friend or foe, that do not have the Black Gale or demonic keywords. The models can be anywhere on the battlefield and do not have to be in the spell caster's line of sight, and the spell cost can be paid by removing blood markers from more than one model if you wish. If the cost of the Goetic spell is a range number, you must choose how many blood markers you will pay before the spell is cast. For example, if a Goetic spell has a cost of 1 to 3, you must pay the cost of 1, 2, or 3 blood markers before you cast the spell. A model that is casting a spell is called a spellcaster. I wish spellcaster was a keyword, but that's might be the change actually. Some Goetic models can only. Some Goetic spells can only be cast if a model takes the cast spell action. When you do so, you must pay the spell cost as described above, and you can then cast the spell with the model. You can use the cast spell action more than once per activation as long as you do not cast the same spell more than once. Cool. The cast spell, is that a new action? It might be.
Might be, which means it affects skill and expertise, I guess.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay. Not sure if anyone has multiple casting ones that would benefit from that. But yeah, you're right. Yeah. But yeah, it's a funny one because it gets around you not being able to use it on range characteristic, because if you have the +1 for that spell on the spell, it means you can use it on your infernal blast, because you're not doing a ranged attack. You got +1 to the cast spell action, which then just happens to use your range characteristic. So I guess if you want to make your sorcerer really good at landing those blasts, but it's a bit nichey. Yep. The Malabranch sword gains deadly. Yep. Clean up.
Chain of Acidia changed to if you do so, if the next action of the spellcaster takes as part of his action requires one or more success rolls or risky success rolls for any part of it, the first rolls are automatically a success. Do not roll any dice.
Yeah, that is the most probably broken Goetic spell in the game. But yeah, yeah, that spell is disgusting and needs to be fixed, because at the moment it's not even limited to the number of it you can take.
Okay.
It's a better version of Blackheart, which Greed has, but Sloth just gets a better version.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, Uncanny Gluttony changed to you must take the cast spell action with the spellcaster in order for it to cast the spell. If you do so, pick one enemy model that has not yet been activated this turn and pick one piece of equipment the model has. Equipment that has a consumable keyword cannot be picked as it has already been consumed. Because in the game, yep. And equipment that has been deployed, the keyword cannot be picked if it is more than 1 inch away from the model. The model chews on the equipment, rendering it unusable for the rest of the game. So I think that's mostly just bringing the cast spell action
Yeah.
some other wording. Tie undeployable, of course.
Yeah.
Yep. Cool.
Praetor gains flying. Sorcerer gains flying.
Yep.
Left-handed path spell. You can cast a spell with a spell cast that makes a move, dash, or charge action and moves in contact with a terrain piece.
Yep, that's cleaned it up nicely. Because yeah, before it was confusing if you could use it in a dash and move.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course you can only you can't do it more than once per turn because that would be violating the rule above, but yeah, you can use it in dash to then get close enough to be able to do a charge, which is pretty clutch.
That's cool.
Poison stingers change to a pit locust can make a melee attack with cleave 2 and shrapnel keywords even though it does not have a melee weapon. Oh, that's a good change. Before it only got shrapnel on one attack, it now gets it on both.
Nice.
Pit locust stalks only going up. It gains the fly keyword. Yep. Cool.
Desecrated Saint, Aura of Envy, change to any models within 12 of the Desecrated Saint. Cannot charge any models that are within 1 inch of a model from the charging model's own warband. It is allowed to move around them in order to reach a different target and does not treat them as interposing enemy models.
Yep, I can't remember what Envy's was before, but yeah, okay. Communicate a turn counter, yep, gets regenerate. Unclawed Hands, change to a Goetic Warlock can make a melee attack with cleave 2 and critical keywords even though it does not have a melee weapon. In addition, the offhand modifier applies to the second attack. Yep, cool. That's just bringing in line with the new cleave rules. What's the change to Mameluke Faris?
Mameluke Faris battle kit, change to a Mameluke Faris always has the reinforced armor, a combat helmet, and it is out without chemical ammunition from the Iron Sultanate faction list. See Iron Sultanate battle kit. In addition, a Mameluke Faris will either have a great sword or a polearm and a trench shield, or a pistol and a sword axe. Decide which battle kit the Mameluke Faris has upon its recruitment, and you can swap out the loadout in each quartermaster step. The Mameluke Faris has an armor characteristic of -3 if it has a trench shield, and an armor characteristic of -2 if it does not.
I think the change is that you can change in the quartermaster step. I think is
which
the
is
change.
Cool. I like that.
Yeah, like he's a mercenary going around. He's going to take what he. Yeah, I actually almost wish though he had a rule that was actually do it at the start of the game, so you can pick for the opponent. Just be a little quirky. Yeah, because in the quartermaster step, like once you know who you're playing, you should be past the quartermaster step.
Yeah.
So yeah, it'd just be a nice little. It'd just give him that little bit of flavor that he will pick based on who he's fighting.
Yeah.
Because if he can change his quartermaster step, he's presumably carrying this with him anyway. So it's not like he's having to go buy it each time. Is my But anyway, that's just a little flavor thing. Observer lightning speed change to it. An observer's polearm has cleave 2 keywords. That's just tidying him up. And that gets us to the end of this pack. Between the multiple cuts, I've lost track of how long we've gone for, but probably at least an hour and a half.
Yeah, we'll do rules commentary in a separate video, it seems.
Yes, most certainly. This is going to be a bit to get through editing wise. But anyway, that's not your problem. That's my problem. I hope you've managed to get some painting done, and we'll see you later for the rules commentary by us. Say goodbye, Avi.
Goodbye, Avi.